Hey, it's the Foster's After Show on AfterBuzz TV. Tonight we're breaking down Season 5, Episode 16, called Giving Up the Ghost. And here to help us do it is Kristen Ariza, who plays Tess. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back, ladies.
Hello.
All of you. Kristen, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Of course. We're excited to talk about Tess. She's been making us angry lately.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry.
Wow.
I'm so sorry.
Wow. You're a little mean to Mariana. We'll talk about it. After intros, though, I'm Jeffrey Masters. I'm on Twitter at JeffMasters1.
I'm Hannah Prichard. I tweet from @TheHotShotDude.
I'm Jillian Leff. You can tweet me at Jillian Leff. And during the show, I will follow along on Twitter if you tweet me either at my handle, Jillian Leff, or at ABTV Fosters. Excuse me. I feel like we've been doing it so much, I can't remember.
Wow, I'm really disappointed, Jillian.
I know,
All right,
I'm
who's
sorry.
next to Jillian?
I'm Stephanie Giorgi. You can find me on Twitter at Stephanie Giorgi and on Instagram at the Stephanie Giorgi.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So we first met Tess, the character, last season in the very finale episode.
Yes.
When they said it's Tess, our panel was like, "Oh my God, Tess!" And I had to be reminded, to be honest.
I saw it.
who you
I
were.
watched it.
Oh, did you? Stop it! Oh my God! Everything I said about you, I take back. Did you know of the entire backstory of Tess when they booked you for that little episode?
No. I remember Bradley told me briefly a little bit, but I think in the little breakdown that we got at the audition, it just said this is someone from Steph's past, but it did. There was no main mention. Honestly, I couldn't even go back to find it, but it just said there are neighbors that moved next door. I really don't even think there was anything.
So did you know you were coming back for the following season as like a recurring role?
I knew that there were 4 episodes locked. That was supposed to be it for my character.
And
Wow.
you were just that good.
Well,
Yeah.
Stirring up drama. It's fascinating having Steph confront this character from her past, especially like a maybe first love. It's wild.
What was so impressive to me, actually, I just have to give a shout out to the fans who picked up from the moment the name was mentioned. They were like, is this the person, like
Yeah.
what you said that you missed? But that's what cracked me up. I was like, wow, these guys are on it.
Yeah.
That's what happens here. It's crazy.
They
And
really
it's
do.
so funny because your character, I guess, associates so much with who Steph is. Because that was always such a big deal that she had that little moment that she was the one who came out later, that you're the only one that she thought she had feelings for. So it's like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen with all this? What feelings are going to be brought up?
It was a lot of buildup.
It was so
It's a
much
lot of
buildup.
buildup, and so there was a lot of. I felt this a little pressure to be like, oh gosh, I am this woman. I am, Tess, who is mentioned from episode 1, season 1, and now we're 5 seasons later, and I moved next door of all the places to
deal.
move.
Yeah.
I moved next door to the family.
Tying that, they mentioned you on episode 1.
Yeah.
That is such a long game the writers are
Right?
playing.
Yeah.
For real.
Right?
I mean, the payout was definitely amazing. We talked about it on the show 2 weeks ago, but it's nice to see, well, not nice, it's tragic to see like this a storyline very similar to Steph's play out. She was with a man, and now we're seeing it with you, and we're seeing your son Brandon, let's just mirror that, Brandon, affected, your husband affected. So I think, we got to see some of it in flashbacks in like episodes from a long time ago of like how Steph and Lena met. But this is playing out in real time, and I think that it's exciting to see what's happening with your character, but it's also exciting to see how it's affecting Steph directly and what it's doing. It's like breaking her down.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's also so funny seeing you in person because you have curly hair like Sherri Saum.
Yeah, I know.
I'm sure they were like, oh, we have to change this. It's too similar.
It was actually a choice that I made at the audition. I just knew because I did my research and I watched. I know how Sherri wears her hair, and I'm like, there's no way that they're gonna cast, me with my natural hair. So I went into the first audition with it straight. And what was interesting, I had to come back early for the second audition. I was in New York. I had a call back for Harry Potter on Broadway to play Hermione.
Oh my God.
Didn't get it. It's okay. I'm okay. But for
No,
that,
we're not though. They'll remember you. It's fine.
so I went there and I had my hair like this, and that flight to get back was super early. So I remember my call back, and I had come there and I was like, there's no time. When you have hair like this and to make it straight, it's a process. It's a half day. I had no time. So I remember coming into the callback and I had made mention of it, and I said the reasons why. It might have been what got me the part. I don't know, because Bradley's such a huge theater person.
Yeah.
I don't know where I just lost my whole train of thought. Hair.
Your callback,
So-
you came in with curly hair.
Yes.
Gotcha.
They were like, we don't care, it's fine. But on the show, yeah, they were very much like, no, let's keep it straight. She's,
I mean, had you walked in with curly hair, we would have been like, oh my God, Sherry's a sister.
Yeah.
Because we're dumb audience members, right?
Or it would have been you're a dumb audience member. I would have been like,
And yet I'm the lead host. That's so weird.
I loved it because it created more tension, because the second you came on screen, I'm like, oh shit, she has a type, and I'm like, damn, she's really cute. This is the first one. If I was Sherri, I'd be super intimidated, because then you're able to identify, like, there's even more truth in it. And then just like, it's the second you came on, everyone's like watching your every move, like, where's she at? What is she about? Like,
What's so interesting though, Bradley, Peter, Joanna, they were all very mum's the word from episode to episode, because I wanted to know, to ask questions, and they give you like little bits, just little tidbits each time. So you're still piecing things together, and maybe it was also because they were trying to figure out where they wanted things to go and how they wanted it to play out. So it was just you're in it for the ride as well the whole time.
Yeah. I think too, as a queer person thinking about Steph, had your character been receptive to her in high school, and had they maybe like gone a little bit further, maybe not dated, but like almost dated, it would have changed her entire life.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think she could have then like come out a couple years after that. But because of it didn't go well, she ended up marrying a man. And I just think about like that could have been so different.
That's why I loved the last scene when Steph was like, it's her, meaning Steph 100% identifies and associates herself with Tess. That was who she grew up with. That was, like, it's our innocence, the things that we hold on to even as adults, that is what we have to work through. That's like the perfect example.
And
then
also,
for her
like,
to move next door and then to try to come out now.
Nobody knows you like a childhood friend knows you.
Exactly.
Right, yeah.
Right.
Even after so many years have gone by, because they're the ones that were with you growing up for all just the little things, and that, as you said,
The basis of who you are.
yeah, when it doesn't matter how much older you get, or sometimes the distance in between friendships, when someone comes back into your world, it's like a whoa, and you're almost taken back to that time of when you're younger or whatever, but that person just still knows you, because I don't know, they just know all the little things.
Yeah, before we were seasoned as adults.
Yeah, before you could put on almost like
all the
the
different
faces
armor.
and masks and
Exactly.
stuff like that we do.
The invisibility cloak.
Right, if you will. Nice, bringing it back full circle.
Everyone's, I had to mention it again because like everyone's freaking out on Twitter about the Hermione
they?
news.
I wish, believe me, trust me, that was a hard one for me to.
So Harry Potter the musical?
It's not a musical.
Oh,
it's
it's
the
just
final book. It was a play in and
Oh,
of
you need to
itself.
read that.
And-
I'll give you my
do.
copy.
I saw that they came out with the series on
In
HBO.
the West
I saw all of
End,
it.
oh really?
Having a lot of feelings
In the
about
West End, they cast a black actress to play Hermione.
Yes.
And people were livid, and then J.K. Rowling came out and said, well, actually, canon says that she has like curly hair, and it's like
And that's
dark
it.
or something,
Yeah.
and she has dark eyes, which is many races. So yeah, that's fine. I also think like for Steph too, it's like she's seeing Tess, and it's like, oh, that's why I liked her. She's nice. She's pretty.
Yeah.
I have, not to make this about me, but my sister called me today because
Wait, you're saying that that's
my,
how Steph was looking at her when she saw
well, I
Tess?
think it's like you're reevaluating the way you were growing up, and it's
man.
like, oh, there were things to like in her,
everything was real.
because sometimes you see a childhood crush and you're like, God, they're
Yeah.
not cute. My childhood crush got married this week, and my sister called me and sent me a picture, and I was like, I thought she was the prettiest girl in the world. And no offense. I just was like, wow. Wow.
No,
She's not. She's not. Who said that? But think about these things.
Well, I mean, like, Tess is a catch. Like, she has a beautiful son, and she's a doctor, and
Orthopedic surgeon.
or a surgeon.
It's okay because I say that in the first episode. How about Tess is perpetually like open mouth, insert foot.
I feel like she doesn't. I don't know. There's some sort of like disconnect with the way that she communicates. Like, it's almost like she word vomits because she doesn't know how to feel. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a little awkward sometimes.
Yeah. I felt like, what I was trying to give it, Tess definitely was awkward, and then just seeing Steph for the first time, it bubbled up all this, feelings, and so I think she was overcompensating far too much.
Mm-hmm.
So they're now labeling Tess as a lesbian. Does that? I think that is a little like presumptive and fast. Mm-hmm. Is there a resolution to her sexuality and or marriage that we'll see? Can you say that?
I can't.
You can't.
Yeah.
Just the first time, I think it was last episode, they said Tess is a lesbian now, and I was like, really? Mm-hmm. Is she maybe just like questioning?
Right. Yes. Yeah. When we last left Tess in the nightclub, she definitely was, exploring her options. Mm-hmm. She
awkwardly and terrified.
Right?
Yeah.
She's having a midlife crisis, of epic proportions. Yeah. Just honestly, I felt like she's just a woman. This is why she chose to move them back to San Diego. Was she just didn't know what to do anymore. And I feel like, as she said, and she was quite honest in that prom episode and saying, that Dean and she were having troubles in their marriage. And it's just, she's grasping at straws. She doesn't know what is truth anymore. And it feels like the foundation underneath her is cracking apart. And so she's trying to lock on to something solid.
That's fascinating. I would be very satisfied to have this Tess storyline go back to Dean and say, you know what? I'm having this crisis. I'm unhappy. I don't think it is that I actually only like women. I think I'm very attracted to you, my husband, and let's try to make this work out. Mm-hmm. And it's like
I
that.
feel like sometimes
is that what's gonna
women
happen?
find it as a way of escaping. Well, I mean, I don't know if you could see it. I feel like as if it wasn't cheating. It's not as bad. Like, you can step away from it, or it doesn't count. I don't know.
That she likes women, or
yeah, I don't know, like it's easy to explore, because I think if you were to try to date other men or go to the club, I don't think it would happen as casually, because it's so new. Mm-hmm. Because it's kind of new. It's a little bit easier to come by or to do. I don't know. I just feel like Tess seems like she got a little bit of liquid courage, if you will, without the liquid, because you're next to this powerful, lesbian couple who are married and everything seems okay. And so then people kind of get brave sometimes. They're like, oh, that's normal. That's for me too. That's for me too. And it's like, no, you don't know what they went through to find that out, where some people think that they could just apply it to themselves. Mm-hmm. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
It does, yeah.
I'm saying that just maybe that could be something
Not
else.
at all. Jillian, you were talking about what Steph said about she's unhappy with herself. Yeah. And I think that's a really big thing to hear from the matriarch of the family. Mm-hmm. It's core heart of the show, for lack of a better word, to hear that I don't know if it's depression, but she's unhappy for a reason.
I got a little bit a sense of depression, only because, she really is the hero for everybody. And like she said to Lena, it's not you, it's me. And when you're depressed, it's very hard to pull somebody out of depression. Yeah. No matter how hard you try, some people are just chronically depressed. Mm-hmm. And hopefully, in Steph's mind, she thinks that this couples retreat is going to help them out and hopefully reconnect them. Mm-hmm. And obviously, as viewers, we hope that too, because it's truly heartbreaking to see Lena trying so hard and even going to defending her family, because that was really a Steph move. Steph would have done that, and Lena had to say, okay, she's not okay, I need to do this.
That's such a good point.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to take it upon myself to protect my family right now, and that's it. And thankfully, Steph did hear her, which I think was also very important, because it made Steph realize, I need to make, I'm ruining this.
Right, and look where she pushed Lena a little bit out of character for her to be like, no, you can't talk to my wife.
Yeah, and I think it was probably very shocking. Yeah. And obviously Lena was overwhelmed, which I can like totally relate to, because when I get like really worked up, like sometimes like I just cry. Right. And I know I'm not the only one. So when she sat down, and I think she kind of thought to herself like, I can't believe I actually just had to do that.
Yeah.
Really, because it is heartbreaking.
And it must have hurt for Steph to hear like, we have our own problems.
Yeah.
Like she heard it in Lena's tone that there's issues here that we need to deal with, and you're just making it all worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we have our own problems. Like the couple scenes earlier, we see Lena like cozying up to her in bed and not receptive at all. That's why I was thinking it might be depression. It might be something a little bit more serious than like a general sadness that I feel every morning when I wake up. But I digress. Just because she was not receptive at all.
Well, it wasn't super icy. Like, I definitely think they could have played it icier if they wanted to. But the handhold at the end, it was like, it was symbolic, because it was like, they both know that something's going on, but they both don't want to say what it is. Like, there's an understanding there. Like, Lena obviously knows, like, okay, she doesn't want this. Why doesn't she want this? And Steph is seeing Lena's reaction and saying, I don't want this right now, but I want you. You're my wife.
Right.
And that was, like, the whole nonverbal communication that they had, at least in my mind.
Yeah, the awareness was there. It was just difficult.
Also, we didn't get a resolution with Logan going home to Tess.
No.
It sounds like he probably told you. We heard. And to me, it makes perfect sense that Tess then, Logan comes to her and says, I hear you're a lesbian. And then these two women, Steph and Lena, have dealt with coming out before and telling people. So like she rushes across the street to say like, what do I do?
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense.
100%. Like the way, and there was not much talk about the moment before, but that's what I played in my mind. Like Logan had just, come in and been like, Mom, what is this? What's going on? Can you imagine? She is just shell shocked.
Yeah.
Doesn't probably have an answer.
No.
She doesn't know.
But she's now on the defense and has to then come across the street. I don't think to try and say, help me, what do I do? But it's more like, what have you done?
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
And also, like, Tess has no idea that it's affecting Steph this much.
Not at all.
She also came very like comfortably. Like she saw Lena, and it was the way she asked for Steph was as if they were right back in high school again.
Yeah.
Like you're talking to her wife. Don't just demand her to get her wife out of here. And I think that's why Lena was compelled to be as aggressive as she was, because she's like, okay, you're getting way too comfortable now.
Yeah. Because
She's like, where's Steph? I need to talk to her. Like,
And because
sorry.
Lena needs Steph too.
Yeah, exactly.
And she's not getting it.
Right.
But it is kind of heartbreaking, though, to me, because I'm like, who does Tess have then to talk about all this with? You know what I mean? Like, she keeps running over to them because they actually can sympathize with her because they have gone through coming out, and who knows if Tess actually is. But it's heartbreaking to me because the people that Tess keeps wanting to go to logically keep shutting her down because they have their own issues to deal with, and
You
it's
can't turn
sad.
to Jenna.
But I don't think
Yeah, right.
Freaking Jenna.
I don't think that they've denied her. I think they've tried telling her like this could progressively get worse, but you have to deal with it yourself. It's not their responsibility to help her with it. That's her husband, her child. Like that's why communication's important. You have to be able to communicate. You know what? It's not. It's something that I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
Even just saying that is enough.
She doesn't have anyone. They just moved back to San Diego. She's had no one.
And has she told her husband yet why the issues are? Okay. I couldn't remember.
No.
So it's really just, they're
remember
the
the
only
last
ones
time
who
we
know.
saw him, he came to Steph and he was like, did she say anything
Right.
to you?
Exactly.
On the vacation, she seemed distant. Is there anything that you can tell me? And Steph was like, listen, deal with your own problems. Like,
Yeah, it's
She needs to see Steph's therapist. That's what
Well,
she needs. I'm dead serious. Or the therapist from Big Little Lies. I'm obsessed with that actress.
Yeah,
She was
she's
so
great.
good from Big Little Lies. The Nicole Kidman scenes where she's like, that actress is so understated and subtle. Okay.
so
she was
nuanced.
great. You know what
This is
other
now a Big Little Lies after show.
There's another therapist that on another show that I like too.
Insecure?
Yes.
Yes!
You read my mind.
Yes.
Yes.
That woman is so good.
She's fantastic.
I didn't watch that show.
Every
I need to watch
character
that.
on
so
TV
good.
is seeing a therapist now, employing so many middle-aged actresses
It's really good.
with like worldly office decor. What if they start? Oh my god, never mind.
I'm all ready. I'm like, what if? I don't know.
Speaking of therapists, Emma will need one after this episode.
Oh,
It is Emma versus the world, aka the Fosters.
Sometimes I'm like, how do they capture those high school moments so well? Like after being out of it, like I always thought I was always gonna remember it, but sometimes I'm like, that's exactly what would happen.
I went
All
through
the
that.
emotions.
Like watching that, I was like, oh, like with plays, like musicals that we used to audition for. Oh, I've been through that.
And
Like
I
that
love
exact scenario.
I love when Jimena says that, you know, we compete against ourselves, not each other. And even if that means that sometimes they're better than us, but we can take it because we're badasses. I was like, that's the message they need to send to girls.
Yeah.
But also,
Because-
like, what an amazing big sister. Like, I want Jimena
Yeah.
as my big sister.
I agree.
Seriously, she's like, she won't want it. She wants to earn it. But that's true. That builds character. And I feel like women
Man, I'd be bummed
lack
if she
it.
was my big sister. I'd be like, let me be that part.
Oh, no. Please.
I'm like, you're my sister. Help me.
Yeah, right. My sister would be like, no, you're my sister. I'm not going to help you. I'd be like, damn.
Okay, tell me if I'm crazy. I am a little frustrated at myself because I'm thinking, are we going to have a storyline with Jesus and Poppy where there's like a love interest?
Yeah.
And I'm frustrated because I do not want to see a man and a woman on screen becoming friends and always assume there's going to be a love there.
I know.
Like, we
but
should
it's
be-
going to happen. So
Well,
there's that.
I don't know what's gonna happen. I agree with you because it's like, why can't we just see honest friendships stay as
Yeah.
friendships?
Yeah.
But they're both really attractive. My thing is that
So
are.
attractive people
They
get to
are.
date.
I
I
mean,
think we
sometimes
want it
'cause
in
so
our
much-
hearts to happen, but
well, I think it's, but I think that's why people have babies. Like when. Like when one no,
Will's
I meant like creation. Think about when you get to a certain age, I think a person knows innately when you see the other person and either you're both the same type of attractiveness, like that's what makes people want to have sex and want to make, create life and stuff like that.
I'm loving this logic
Okay.
from you right now.
The logic is so real. Maybe
would
I'm not saying it right, but
They
I'm
would create
I'm
beautiful
right.
children.
They would create beautiful. But my point
Okay.
is that
Jesus
they see
is
each
fertile.
other.
We know from this with their girlfriends.
I think she
We
has
do.
a crush on him. I don't think he does on her.
I agree. with
Oh,
that.
really?
Yes, because she's doing exactly what I would have done.
Jillian, what do you think?
Will you help me with
I don't know. It's very hard. So obviously, her situation is really complicated, and if you have to think about it in like a way, Jesus has become very compassionate, especially since his injury. So I think in his mind, he's like,
He's becoming a zaddy.
But like Emma is self-sufficient, and I think that's. It happens to women a lot. Men think that they don't have to worry, which is great because, like, I love being an independent woman.
You're about to make me so sad with what you're gonna say. I know what you're gonna say. Keep
I
going.
have no idea
But,
what
like,
to say.
it makes me, like, I think in Jesus' mind, he feels like he has to take care of Poppy when he feels like he does not have to take care of Emma. And that,
Oh.
I think that's kind of, like, in my mind, where it comes from.
Someone told me recently that a man, when he's needed, they find that irresistible.
Yeah.
Which
That's
is
true.
like, damn,
Oh,
but
I'm the exact opposite.
guys,
if I'm
read
dating
my
someone and they
shirt.
need me, it's the most disgusting thing ever.
I
Are you
agree.
kidding me? Don't call me. Don't text me. We saw each other last week. What do you want from me?
oh my
The exact
Oh my
same
gosh.
way. I'm the worst.
So Steph's shirt says, "A passionate woman is worth the chaos." Follow me on Twitter.
Thank you so much for saying it, not me.
Oh my gosh, amazing.
No,
That's
but
a
I
good
really,
point.
I think that's kind of like where he's at because he even says to Emma, like,
You're so
can't you
right.
level with her? Like, her parents got taken away. Like, I'm just trying to help her out. Like, how,
It's a great point.
it's a very, like, complicated thing because obviously he loves Emma, but this whole season, he has not been paying the attention that she deserves because Emma is also a catch.
and
Oh,
she does
yes.
not need attention.
No.
She's not going to be like, "Yo, come help me with my robot.
Right.
My robot needs extra hands." She's like, "No, I got my robot."
Yeah.
You know what her robot is,
just
right?
want-
Everybody knows what her robot is.
You are too much.
What are you talking about? This is a family show. What are you talking
Well,
about?
when she said, so we have closed caption on the TV.
Okay.
And when she says, like, I want you to come over and look at my bot, I thought she said butt
Oh.
or bod.
Yeah,
You're
something.
disgusting, Jillian.
Well, I'm just
You're
saying, like, let's not put it past high schoolers, like, at this point on this show. Sex is very on the table all the time.
It really is on this show all the time.
Okay, while we're talking to high schoolers, I want to talk about the PTSD from the college admissions process that I'm personally feeling from this episode. Do you guys not feel that stress?
I did, actually.
yeah.
I did.
From her not getting into UCSD?
Yeah, and just
reminded me
talking
of
about Mariana
my
with the college
rejection.
counselor, where she's in the top 1% of her class, and we're like,
lot.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't get accepted to Sonoma State. I applied there too. I was like, dang, Callie, I don't know if you're going to get into that one either.
Well, both the counselor and then
The art teacher?
The art teacher. I was watching it going, gosh, harsh but true. Like
Yes.
they needed, it was a necessary truth to say, you know, you might want to rethink that. You might want to have a plan B for your
It was
school.
an adult conversation.
It was a
It
very
was.
adult conversation.
Which, like, I kind of think is cool because some kids can take it. Like, obviously, Mariana was taken back because she just thought, oh, I got this in the bag. Like, I'm great. And then Callie, you know, she has this, like, epiphany, which Jeff said perfectly, like, oh, it just sets us up for the spinoff, which we already know the description. It's about Callie helping people. So, oh, Steph, sorry. Got to give credit where credit's due.
This is like America. I got all the credit.
That's why I'm over here like, it was me. Sorry.
But no, like I was definitely probably Mariana when I was in high school.
Jillian, you were.
I
I didn't know
believe
you,
that
but yes, you were.
100%.
You
That
were.
woman was Cheryl Strayed light. Didn't she look like Cheryl Strayed?
She did a little bit.
Who were
yeah.
wild?
Oh, yeah, she did.
She did a little
No one's
bit.
impressed.
I don't know what that what she looks like.
She did.
The discussion with Callie's the art teacher you brought up though, go where your fire is stoked.
Where the stoked, yeah.
That's like we've been saying that all season. That yes, be an artist if you want that, but your passion that we've also seen is helping other kids like her.
Right. I think,
Yeah.
and she'll figure out later that within itself is an art, you know? It's like, we just don't know enough when we're kids.
And also, we've seen her do so many things that have to do with like the foster care system. We're helping people in combination with art. Like if you remember back a couple seasons ago, she was taking photos of foster kids.
Oh, yeah.
And she also had Fost and Found, which like also like web design, all of those things. And then with Jimena, the posters that she designed at the protest and everything, like the videos that she put together, which I still feel like we're gonna see and hear more about something like that. I feel like that's not done yet.
She's so enterprising and resourceful for all these thousands of things, like except for like art, which she like says she wants.
Yeah.
You know? It's nice that pointed out from her.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need somebody to be harsh with you to wake you up a little bit.
Absolutely.
And I think she did. She
She
woke up.
did. Oh my goodness, definitely. I think I was just remembering back to my high school days going, God, did that happen? I mean,
Did you
I'm
like
sure-
always want to be an actress?
No. It did start my senior year, but I wasn't ever in plays or anything like that. I was more in sports. I ran track and cross country and played basketball, and I was the president of my junior and senior class.
Oh,
I was just like,
Wow.
you know,
What if Mariana?
I guess the bug hit me a little bit later. Randomly auditioned for a pilot that we shot in Florida, where I'm from, and then this show the rest of the series was filmed in London. So what would have been the start of my freshman year in college, I was then in London doing a television series.
You randomly auditioned for a pilot that ended up getting picked up, and you got cast in it, and it went to series. That's wild.
I know.
That's the weirdest story I've ever heard.
I know. It was
That's incredible.
Some things are just meant
Wow.
to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's also the story that everyone tries to hold on to, too. They're like, that could happen to me, that could happen to me, too.
But then you have to work.
Exactly.
You have to work.
Well, that's you see, that always makes me sad because I told myself I wasn't going to go to college for the arts because you don't go to school for that. I come from a Latino family where it's like security, financial. I'm like, I need to do communications, emphasis in public relations so that I have, all these other things so that I had to be this. And then on on the side, I'll start my acting career, which is something I've always wanted. And now it's like, damn, I should have just gone to school for acting.
And now you're back in class.
And now I'm back in class.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it is great.
Yeah, no, I
10 years later, Jesus.
You have to always I think in life you never know where the currents are going to take you as long as you stay a little bit flexible, a little bit open. And I do feel like the arts are in everything, in math, in science, in art, what we label as just the real arts, whatever. And for me, that just opened a world. My family was business related, and so I just knew that I didn't want to do that. I had a business mind from my parents, but it just opened a world to me. And then I realized, no, I want to go to school for theater.
Yeah,
I got my degree in theater. What is that?
Yeah.
What is that?
You went to school after the series.
I did.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Good for you.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
It's
It's never too late.
Yeah, I think
There's
that's
no
great.
path, right?
There's no path. I mean,
There's no-
I could have stayed in London. I could have come to LA sooner. But I think I I just recognized that I wanted that foundation of
Absolutely.
you know,
awesome.
something. And honestly, my parents also were like, "You got to get a degree." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, it's gonna be theater." And they're like, "Okay, that's fine." God bless my parents for supporting that. And then, yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I'm on AfterBuzz TV.
You made it.
It's only up from here.
That's so funny. Before we move off of Callie, she had the really amazing moments with Jude.
And Donald.
Yeah, and Donald. But I bring up Jude because they've been together since season 1, episode 1, and kind of Jude reminded me that they were each other's support system and only support system for so long. And so separating with that is big, but then also just the separation of the normal part of growing up. It's kind of
Right.
all happening now.
Which is a bummer. So I see what he means when he's like, but we just got this. You know, and we're finally in this place where we're super comfortable that I want to live in it some more. So that's pretty heartbreaking. I remember leaving and like people in my life and friends knowing like everything is going to be different after this.
Yeah.
Which she was nice to soften the blow, but he's right.
Yeah.
But I think
They're never, you know, things will be different. So it's just really sad.
Yeah, but I think like they're talking about like the trauma of being in the foster care system and not having anybody to rely on except for each other. And for the first time ever, that she won't be the next door over.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It was
That's
nice
just
to see
big.
them have some moments together because we really haven't seen much of Jude recently, like in this portion of what we've seen so far, serious moments.
Yeah.
So it was just like, it was heartwarming. And then his scenes with Donald,
Broke my heart.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine being like, how old is he, 14 or 15 on the show?
Yeah.
Saying to his biological father, like, this kid needs a dad. You go
Yeah.
be his dad because you're not mine. I have a family.
Right.
I am loved, but like, don't ruin this kid's life. And like for him to just be mature enough to realize that after he had his moment at the house, like I don't know, like I'm amazed at the growth that they can show with these characters in such a short amount of time, and it's like smart growth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's realistic. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, so you learned a lesson and you get it. So that was really beautiful, I thought.
And the show shows progressive liberal people who are accepting of this queer family, right? It's never brought up the fact that they're actually lesbians. So I think it's amazing to have Donald's perspective of, I didn't know if it was okay to say that you're gay and I'm cool with it, but like, can I talk about it? And because that's so realistic too.
And then
Yes, I remember being in that place where someone was like, but you can't tell people that. Like, you know that. Like, one of my friends were gay. I'm like, oh, I didn't know. I'm sorry. So I'm like, oh, that brought me back to like, no, before you weren't able just to tell people your business like that.
Yeah, because some people can't like walk on eggshells because they don't know
Yes,
it's appropriate.
exactly.
And
But then
for-
Jude being like,
nah, it's fine.
No,
Yeah,
everybody,
I
everybody
know.
tell. Yep.
That
Yeah.
was beautiful.
like, I mean, this kid, he is like transformed.
He looked so handsome and grown in this episode.
did.
They cut his hair really good.
Yeah.
He looks so nice. We've seen Hayden grow
Yeah.
up. Like, we probably had him on the show the most out of everybody from the cast. So it's always weird because every time we have him come back in, he's like grown a full foot. So just like to see him change throughout all these seasons is like totally amazing.
I agree.
I know. Steph's showing me like one of the first pictures that she ever took with him, and he looks like a fetus.
Oh,
And her,
Like,
and
oh
her-
my god! Oh my god!
I'm gonna post one right now on Twitter, y'all.
The line that killed me was when Kelly said, I try not to want anything too much.
I know.
And it's just like a nod to her childhood.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And that's so real to me.
But like to have that conversation with Donald,
Right now.
No, I don't cry.
I thought that was really important for not only for her to have the conversation with him, but then for her to say like, so what are you afraid of?
yeah.
Right.
Why don't you take this next step? You need to practice what you preach.
He is giving up his ghost.
And his
Everybody
bachelor
else is-
pad. Because that was a sad place.
That's such a bachelor vibe. That leather sofa.
Mismatch of furniture.
Mismatched furniture.
Oh yeah.
Did you not?
Nothing on the walls.
Did you not feel that Donald showed that he also? I felt like they showed him a little bit not being able to move forward because he still was holding on to Callie
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Jude. Good, because I think that Jude needed to see that too. So I think it made him a little happier to say, like, to hear his dad be like, "Are you okay with that?"
Yeah.
And it says, "As long as you acknowledge it, then yes, you have my blessing," kind of a thing.
Yeah, and we talk so much about representation on the show. It's amazing to have positive representation for Donalds just today. You know,
Yeah.
Donalds have a really bad name in the presidency.
Yeah.
So
right.
let's talk about the
You ain't lying though.
Let's talk about Grace before we're out of time.
Oh, yeah.
She is also giving up the ghost. We had a sage burning. I'm so proud of them.
I loved it.
Yeah, Jillian, were you the one that picked up on the Grey's Anatomy ghost parallels?
No.
I did.
That was you.
So
No one
as
remembers
we all
Steph's
are-
points.
What? No one.
We're all like attributing your points to everyone else.
I know. I actually have noticed that. It pisses me a lot, but it's okay. I'm like,
Pull us out.
whatever.
It's fine. Go on.
Like you said, white America, not for long. But I'm just kidding. That's why. No, but when we were watching it, I was like, oh my God, it's Izzy all over again. Y'all, don't you remember when Izzy saw Denny?
Girl, there's been 19 seasons of the show.
Because she had a brain tumor.
Yes, because she started getting the brain tumor, and that's when she started seeing it. So that's, I'm sorry, Grace is not going to be on the show for much longer.
Oh my god.
It's not funny, it's not
That's
funny.
it. The sage works to an extent, but they didn't have the wood that you're supposed to burn after it. So
Palo
I don't know.
Santo.
The Palo
Oh my
Santo.
god.
Okay, special segment. Let's go around the circle and say if you think Grace is going to die on this show. Steph, was that your answer? Yes. Jillian? Yes. Hannah? Yes. Jeff? No. Tess? Do you know the answer?
Test. Answer as Tess.
Tess is like, who's Grace?
I know exactly. That's like,
How many? Is that one of the daughters?
Yeah.
How many kids? Okay, so we've decided that Grace is gonna die. I'm so sorry to Meg, who plays her. This is a final answer, though.
But wait, I'm confused about this whole ghost thing because we have 10 minutes left in the show. There's a lot to get to, but like I didn't get the like. Okay, I believe Steph slightly with the situation. Like maybe she's seeing things because like her sickness is back, whatever. But then all it took for it to disappear was Brandon to be his like wonderful, caring self and to show her that she's not alone in this yet again. So I don't know if it was like a mental thing.
I mean, mind over matter, definitely.
Yeah.
Because like with the song at the end too, like she's worrying, and then maybe she just needed to realize that
These
she has
things-
this amazing partner and he's with her and like he's reading how to get rid of a ghost on his phone. Like, okay, we sage it, we salt it.
When she says, I think I'm getting better, I only heard in her voice, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
really?
I heard that like as if the ghost came back, so she did feel the presence. She is associating it. She's accepting it, but she sees how much Brandon is trying and loving him that she's like, I don't need you to do all of this again for me.
I don't think she's dying because if there's a couple episodes left of the season and there are 3 episodes to wrap it up in the summer, her death is too much to deal with in the short period of time. And for her not being a core member of the cast, I don't think the writers want to spend that much time on her death.
Yeah,
But it's going to be assumed that it's terminal. Like, we might not see her dead, but
So caveat it, she will die at some point.
yeah, I feel like it's not going to be like, oh, she's in remission, and then like
She's
the series
definitely
over.
not on the spinoff.
no.
I love Grace, but
You know what? Going back to your earlier point, I believe Jillian made this, but maybe it was Steph. No, I'm kidding. The earlier point that the both of you made was that men like caring for people, and we see this with Brandon
He does it all the time.
as well.
that one was Jillian's point.
Fantastic. And I'm critical of Brandon's relationships because he doesn't pick good ones or ask my opinion.
He's taking
and
care
this
of
is a
all
great
of
one.
them.
I'm really happy. This sounds like a really supportive relationship where they talk a lot. It's communication. I'm big on that.
But what has he done for himself?
Nothing
In
ever.
all of this, that is what I keep wondering. Every relationship that he puts himself into, it comes back to the same thing. What has he done for himself?
He
Yeah.
likes the wounded birds.
Yeah.
He likes, like the wounded.
Yeah.
It
But,
comes
like,
from his mother,
but
is
this-
having to take care of that. You go for what you go after your mother, the similar traits. So
Okay, but like this guy had so much going for him, right? He got accepted into
Yeah.
Juilliard.
Juilliard,
Then he got that taken away because he did something to get money for another girl.
That was after that guy slammed his fingers on the car door.
Yes.
I'm still scarred.
That was yeah.
The same show, right? That was this
Yeah.
what show? Oh, the Fosters.
That happened a long time
never
ago.
Mind.
A long
Is this
time
the one
ago,
with the
Jeff.
lesbians?
Yes.
Okay.
No, but like I just wonder, is this going to is Grace going to pass, and then is he going to realize I need to like live my life to the fullest because of her?
Truth. Yes.
Anything
Did I
else?
just that was the series
was it, I
finale of the
agree.
show.
wait, say it again. I missed.
That if Grace passes, he's going to realize like I need to now live for myself. Like I need to make things happen for myself. This is what she would have wanted.
Right.
And yet, not everybody in the world has to have big dreams and big goals and go after like the art scholarship or like
Yeah.
the STEM thing. He could just go and work
Be a
with
music
Courtney at the bar
No.
and raise like Grace's dead children.
He could just be a music therapist. He could be a music therapist, which is what Grace was doing when
That's a
they
great point.
met. So I don't know, whatever. I'm like, can't predict the future too hard because
but
we know how things change.
Oh, we have to predict the future though. So let's go to predictions.
Yes.
We have some updates.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV prediction.
Okay, so first in the preview we saw the gamer talk with Jude. We're not talking about that though. Jillian.
Yeah, okay, 2 things. One thing, since y'all won't leave me alone, the Ellen episode where the cast was on was wonderful. You can watch it on Ellen Tube. There's 2 clips. So cute, so proud of them, so happy. The fans that actually started the campaign were in the audience, which was so cool.
That is a classy move.
It's
cool.
Ellen, of course.
Yeah, I mean, this has
She
been
does everything.
Yeah, this has been going on for like years, and just to see how happy they were, like the cast was really happy, but to see how happy all those kids were after they had fought for so many years to get them on the show. Very, very cool. Thought number 2. So, if you follow them on social media, you know that I think like pretty much all of the cast is in Turks and Caicos.
What if it's just like a...
Okay, so here's
Tess dies. She's not there.
So here's who we have so far. Spotted, right? Okay, Sherri spotted. Maia,
Great.
David, Cierra, Noah.
Where's Teri?
I haven't seen Teri.
So, she dies. She
Danny
dies.
Nucci.
Oh my God!
Stop.
They're burying her.
They're putting her ashes at sea.
But to be fair, I don't follow. I don't know if Teri has social media. Maybe she has a Twitter. I don't know if she has an Instagram.
Why would they be in Turks and Caicos?
So here's my thought, right? And like obviously I'm wrong about many things, but I don't know. Sierra posted something today.
Not, though.
Okay. So Sierra posted something today where it looked like her and Maia were in like full hair and makeup. It looked like she was in like a bridesmaidsy type dress. It was like blue. It just looked like very David's bridal. So I'm thinking like, are they gonna wrap up this season by showing a vow renewal? Because the weddings on this show were so near and dear to the entire audience's heart. Like looking back, everyone talks about favorite moments, right? They talk about the first wedding and they talk about the second wedding. So like, is this something where we obviously know there is a time jump because that was confirmed.
Oh, it was?
It was confirmed by Hayden. Hayden told us there was a time jump. So like, is this in the future? Are they having this vow renewal on an island? Because like island vow renewals are very in.
But I thought they did one already.
Or is this Grace's funeral?
Or Grace's wedding now that she's healthy to Brandon.
Oh, maybe.
And that's why Danny Nucci's there.
Yeah.
Wait, but why? Then why can't it be Anna and Mike's
Because
wedding?
we already know she's not going to be on the
They
show.
can't afford
wait.
Turks and Caicos.
But wait.
How we get it. This is how we get it.
Guys,
I love this. I love watching this.
But here's what's confusing to me. Emma is there and Matt is there.
What?
Jesus and Emma's wedding.
So Mariana chose Matt.
Stop it.
Yes.
Stop it.
Well, I mean,
Girl, you just
This is
sorry about
okay,
it.
This is some
Wait,
tea.
what'd you say?
This is some tea.
That means Mariana chose Matt.
well, we don't know. There's a huge time jump.
She's like, no, that's my son. She chose.
I don't
I
understand.
would be there.
True.
This is such a logistically, I don't know if the show is like based in Turks and Caicos, like those episodes that they actually travel there, but I'm surprised they pay such an expensive place to film, honestly.
Well, but that's definitely
That's
a
for
bon voyage.
production.
That's a bon voyage for the cast.
True.
It's like, let's finish filming and then party
They don't
because
have budgets for that.
like, listen,
Bradley is classy. He would make that happy.
True.
those are my thoughts. Take it or leave it. At me on Twitter. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm right. Whatever. I'm ready to fight. I'm following them all week. So like, if you guys see anything, like tweet at me. Let me know. I'm talking about it in like separate text thread with other Foster's fans. Like we're really trying to figure this out. So just like let me know.
Let
me know.
Let Julie know. Thank you for the tea. That is
you're
some
welcome.
hot goss.
You're welcome.
We are out of time. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you
Kristen.
very much. This has been hilarious.
If people want to connect with you online, is your Instagram the best place for that?
It is. I don't tweet much. I have like
We're not
300
mad.
followers, but I try. But I'm better on
You
IG.
answered me on Twitter.
I did. It's because I have like 300 followers. I'm like,
Okay.
What's that?
What is your Instagram name?
It's my name, Kristen Ariza.
Ariza.
Awesome.
Kristen Ariza. Fantastic. You have many followers in there. Okay, let's talk about your followers offline. I'm on Twitter as well. I tweet at just from Jeff Masters 1. I also host the interview podcast LGBT Q&A. We had a really cool episode this week about sex and disability with someone who has cerebral palsy, so check that out.
Okay, it's my turn. I don't have anything else, but you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at the Hotshot Dude.
Actually, Hannah does have something else.
Oh,
Yeah, the Frigid
you have
Duck.
a show.
I'm in a play right now. If you are in the Los Angeles area until March 11th or before then, I am in a show at the Blank Theater called The Frigid Duck. Yeah, and the link to the tickets is on my Instagram.
Fab.
Promo girl. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Jillian Leff, and I also co-host a podcast called Boss Please, where we interview amazing female bosses from all walks of life. And this week we are talking about the power of saying no.
Nice. Yes. I have a poem for you. Okay. I'm Stephanie Giorgi. You can find me on Twitter at Stephanie Giorgi, but preferably also on Instagram at the Stephanie Giorgi. Deuces.
Fantastic. We'll be back next week for Grace's memorial service. See you then.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.